Hails and well met, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Mally Nim, and today we have an extra special episode. With me are four amazing individuals I am blessed to have on my channel, and I would like them to introduce themselves, starting with you, Atsu.
Hello, my name is Atsumori Kufuhara. I am a retro variety streamer and karate VTuber, and I'm deeply involved in the tabletop scene. And I was a venture captain in the Pathfinder Society for 10 years, and a professional game designer for a small indie gaming company.
Yes, hell yeah. Gob, please introduce thyself.
Hello, everybody. I am Gob the Goblin, your friendly neighborhood cookie mancer. A bit of a artist, bit of a musician, bit of a voice actor. I started D&D about 10 years ago, but didn't get into it properly until about 2018, 2019. And I've just fell in love with the game ever since, and now hosting a live stream show called Scheduled Conflicts.
And we will definitely talk about games like that. Games we're playing, games we're streaming, games we're planning on playing. Ruby, you're up next.
Oh my god, I'm up next. Hello, I'm Ruby the Lazy Goblin. I don't stream D&D or anything. I am part of a few... I was part of a few games, especially like your games. And I'm pretty much new to the whole DMing stuff. I've been on my 6th session from my campaign so far, and the players like it, I guess. So I'm the newbie here. So yeah, but I love it.
Oh yeah, definitely wanted to have some new eyes approach. I guess I'll do a little introduction. I am Mally Nim, I tabletop RPG streamer. I've been running games for a little over 10 years. Started with Pathfinder, moved to 5e, and now I'm deep into the Demon Lord Shadow. Cool,
Hey,
cool.
I interviewed the guy who made that game.
I know. Check out, if anybody hasn't seen it, check out Atsumori's interview with the Demon Lord himself. And thanks for the bits. Oh, yeah. I'm so good at this. Thanks for the hype train. Thanks for all the subs, freaking Ray. Thanks for the bits. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the hype train. Okay. Thanks for putting me off tilt when we start. Okay.
Do you mind if I link the interview?
No, go for it, for sure.
Okay.
Link the interview. I have our lovely DMs are linked in the title, and it'll also pop up. Thank you, Stream Elements. So yeah, give these DMs a follow, new, old, whatever. So we're just having a chill conversation today, talking about D&D, TTRPGs, running games, and maybe a little bit of our process and stuff. And any questions from chat, of course, please bring them on. And welcome to the warband Kithla.
If
Hello, Kith.
So where do we start today?
Where do we start now? Yes. And I've got you all in order on this round table, so we can always go in order of Atsumori. What happened? Okay. Thank you, Z, for giving Atsumori permission. I don't know how I have things set up. It's been a long time since I've actually set up stream and stuff and permissions and all that, so I have no idea. If you need me to, you can send me the link, Atsu, as well, if frickin' Stream Elements wants to be a bully. I will for sure link it, and hell yeah. Watch the YouTube VOD for sure. Yeah, see if you can do it again, Atsu.
There we go. There you go.
Oh, yeah, sending it to me. Perfect. I'll take it just in case.
Boom, boom. There we go.
Boom. Paste. Hell yeah. Go check that out. That's awesome. Freaking Schwab is a madman.
Yeah, he is.
So we did a little basic introduction. If you want to go into a little more detail about your history, or I don't know, help me out, guys. Oh, I'm sorry. And thank you so much, Atsu, Gob, and Ruby, for joining me, accepting my invite, and joining me on the stream. Thank you so much.
Boy, let me tell you, when I heard this was gonna be a morning stream for us, at least in our perspective, I was just like, oh boy, I gotta wake up.
Actually, you know what? Can I bust in and ask a question for like Atsu and actually for everyone, but like I want Atsu to be the first person who answers this. Is that okay?
Oh yeah,
sure.
Don't pull out, bust in all the way.
Okay. I bustin' makes me feel good anyway. So Atsu, so what is your main, like when you I know like every DM like steals from every source they can get, right?
That is true.
So like what is your main inspiration when like thinking of like making a campaign or something like that?
Well, I am a particular fan of point crawls, hex crawls, sandbox games, emergent stories, emergent gameplay. So I look for modules and campaigns that have done that and done that well. So let's take, for example, the 11 session Shadow of the Demon Lord game that I ran, Shadows over Waypoint Keep. That is literally my pastiche, my take on Keep on the Borderlands, which was written by Gary Gygax back in like 1980, 81, like really, really early. And I was like, this is cool, but it's been done to death. I want to do it my way. So I made my own custom, pixel map. Kind of began with an end in mind. I was like, okay, there's a demon lord, and the way I'm going to run it, he's going to show up when everybody shows up as level 10, and they're going to level up every single level. Why are they going to Why are they going to level up every single level? Well, they're going to be the heralds of the demon lord, and they've got this like horrible demonic power metastasizing within them that's just growing stronger with or without whatever they're doing. And why is that happening? How did they become the heralds of the demon lord? Well, they were experimented on by this, horrific death cult and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So you set up the sandbox, you set up the main plot, and then you ask yourself, why is this happening? Answer that. And if a good answer will perpetuate 3 more questions. Why are these things happening? And then you jot down, you take notes, and sooner or later you've got, kind of where you want the campaign to go. Or rather, you've began with an end in mind, but the players are going to be the ones who direct where things go from session to session. Yep.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. I really like taking a freaking welcome to the warband, that's a toasty. Taking pre-written modules and just modifying to your own needs. That's really cool. And that was really cool.
Directly took from Keeping the Borderlands, other than like the flavor and the tone of it, was the map of the Keep.
Oh.
I took the map of the Keep, which is practically Creative Commons at this point. Well, I took an updated version of the map and just slapped it on, and that was Waypoint Keep for me. That was our hub. So one of the cool things to have about like in your game, whether it be a point crawl or whether it be kind of a linear adventure or whatever, have a place where your players can go back to and know that they are relatively safe, right?
Yes.
They don't ever have to be 100% safe. In fact, if they're ever 100% safe, then what the hell are you doing? They're adventurers, These are the people
in my games.
These are the people who think it's a perfectly good idea to, foot slog their way out of civilization, go into the wilds where they know 90% of the things out there can either 2-shot or 1-shot them at level 1. done. Okay. And they're gonna, raid old ruins, and they're gonna delve deep into holes in the ground for gold and glory. These are the people, right? Base any DM decision that you have rattling around in your head on that idea, and you will not go wrong.
And by the way, I really love the concept of your players being experimented on to become heralds. Mwah, love it.
Thank you.
And hey, while we're on the subject, we're talking about Waypoint Keep. Let's move on to Gob, and why don't you discuss how you came about scheduled conflicts and your ideas behind it, and then we'll move to Ruby and talk about your off-stream game as well. Move along. So Gob, tell us about scheduled conflicts.
Oh boy, howdy. You see, Atsu and I have a lot of different places where we get our inspiration from. Obviously, he's got a lot of experience with the much older school modules and experience with many different other forms of tabletop games, but I have been, shall we say, unfortunate enough to have only stuck around with Dungeons and Dragons for all my life. I've never really gotten to explore any other genres, so when it comes to like picking inspiration from things, a lot of it comes from my experience with music and lyricists, the tones that certain songs set, the moods that they bring to you, the emotions that they evoke from themselves. And a lot of the songs I do listen to do invoke that sort of level of fantasy that I like to go for, the sort of like immersion of the sounds of music.
Hell yeah.
And where scheduled conflicts began was actually about 5 years ago, before anybody knew anything about it, and I was just a little pup of a DM who had a basic grasp of the player's handbook. I didn't even have a DM's guide with me, and I was just going off the experience of what I had been shown from the dungeon master that was working with me. So when I first tried to like introduce my homebrew world, it was inspired by a lot of songs. A big influence for the world of Eos that Scheduled Conflicts takes place in, funny enough, is the band Ghost.
Ooh. Cool. Nice.
And I took inspiration from their sort of what's the word? They're spiritual influences. There's a song that they have in particular called Year Zero, and it's talking about like the whole like titanic demons of like historical hell. And I'm just like, that sounds like a really cool concept. How can I reflavor that to turn it into a fantasy setting and still consider it my own without being like, oh, these are like biblically influenced creatures. So I do tend to take a lot from high fantasy and my own crazy messed up imagination when it comes to like interpreting songs in a fantastical way. Unfortunately, the first time I tried it in action, it ended up flopping because we had some very problem players.
We gotta talk about problem players like in time today.
I won't go too into detail about the problems, but let's just say there was a bard who made the triangle their primary instrument and was the typical bard that tried to seduce everything.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The second attempt was Scheduled Conflicts, and at this time I had vetted a team that I know has lots of experience with tabletops and Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm blessed that they work so well together as a team that they don't really get into any conflicts.
Only scheduled ones.
The only
Always one time.
The only conflicts are the ones I throw at them, and the way I like to rule it is, how can I make it that these players are always on the edge of their seats every session, and I think I deliver.
That's a really good mentality, though. Like, how can I keep my players on the edge of their seats every session? First time, every time. That is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, God, I wanted to ask you a question real quick.
Yep.
You and I are in an elevator. You need to. You've got 20 seconds to tell me about like scheduled conflicts. What does your elevator pitch go?
Fuck.
without spoilers or anything like that.
Well, scheduled conflicts is a place of walking, living, godlike deities who have pressed themselves into the world and have essentially taken it for themselves. The giants used to rule here, dragons used to rule here, no more.
Now the gods walk.
They walk as living god kings. Like, you can go to God and have a chat with him.
Damn.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
And there are, I believe, if I remember correctly, each country has a god of their own. So you have the Hollow Highlands, you have Falling Fire, you have the Glowing Isles, you have Everspire. So each of them has their own primary deity, each representing an aspect of the universe, say like light, death, war, all that sort of stuff.
I love it. I love it. And to piggyback off of you, Gob, yes, I fucking love music too and adding musical inspirations. And I too am blessed to have an excellent party of players.
I mean, music is definitely the primary one, but there are also just outside media influences, like even just like a dumb meme you find on the internet one day where you see someone's just like, oh, you pissed off the DM, that mountain on the horizon's now walking towards you. I'm just like, okay, but how do I actually make that work?
Oh yeah.
How can
that's
you
what
kill
I'm
a
talking
god?
about.
So I'm like, I actually want to see that now.
Definitely. That's one of my favorite things to go off of words. From the Shadow of the Demon Lord core book, the GM section, one of the paragraphs, steal liberally. Freaking love it.
Yeah. And I think there's a big difference between me and Atsu when it comes to playing up power. Because where Atsu's just like, yeah, go into the wilderness, you can get one shot, two shot by certain monsters. I tend to fall on the other side of the spectrum where I want the players to have a sense of power. You know, I want them to feel powerful, yet I want them to also feel like that they are in a powerful world where they aren't the only ones who have this sort of grandiose about them.
Oh yeah. I'm in the middle with that because Demon Lord, yeah, low levels, shit can one-shot you. But if you play smart,
I mean,
you get to the higher levels, yeah, you're fucking badass.
I mean, literally just last session, I introduced a character who clotheslined the wizard in one shot and knocked him out.
Ooh, nice. That must have been tense.
It's kind of like I want to put the world on the same level as them and exponentially grow with them.
Oh, that's awesome. Love it. Hey,
See, I'm on
Ruby,
the
I
other side
heard
of the
you.
spectrum where, you know, the world is not, you know, built for you, right? But anyway.
But you
Ruby.
will grow to it. Yes.
Yes.
I hear, Ruby, that you are a new DM running a game. Please tell us about this game.
Well, it would be kind of weird if you didn't hear about it because you're one of my players. So that's why I kind of have to avoid spoilers, I guess. But oh god, okay. So the question was, what inspires us? And I fucking love like I cannot do like anything like song music or whatever. I I have most of my inspiration I have from video games, I think, because I used to play a lot of video games before I got into D&D.
And VTubing.
Same,
And
same.
VTubing. And and so like my inspiration actually comes from back when I was making a JRPG of my own. I took inspiration from Grandia, from Mass Effect. Like those were like the most prominent inspirations, like sci-fi and some adventure and stuff. I like the aspect of like starting very small and like hold on, I need to turn down the music. It's a little bit distracting. Yeah, I took like everything. Yeah, I stole everything that I knew from like movies and games, and put it really like into something of my own. I love that. I love listening to you, Gob, about the whole about the whole like you know exactly what your world is and stuff, and I want to get to this point, like, because like the campaign that I was making right now, or that I'm DMing, it kind of grows at the moment. Like it's still like in the making. A lot of stuff like also comes from the players themselves. Like they introduced me to their like, for example, one of my players is a dragon princess, and she is being hunted by a group called Basil's Fang. And this kind of group didn't exist beforehand. So I'm like, yeah, okay, so how do I build this into the world so it makes sense? And I love that. I take a lot of inspiration too, like from my players, and also from like how I narrate the game. I kind of do it like inspired by another DM who I have played with who I've played with for yet 2 years now, and he has like this great style of like trying to be a little bit like narrative, like, I don't know, like I guess like Critical Role or something, describing a whole room, a monster or something, then revealing it and stuff. And like I'm just having fun with learning, and with like, actually it's like funny, because like I always hated homework as a kid, and I still do kinda hate homework. So like every time like I want to prep for the campaign, I wait until like, I don't know, the last 2 days before the campaign, and then it goes running, because like I don't know, I can work better that way, like on some pressure to get it done, because I think it's extremely important that I do get to run the game, even if like the whole week was but like it's like I don't want to be the reason that the game is not going forward. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah.
Oh, no worries, no worries. And since you are the only one who hasn't streamed a game on here, do you have any plans of streaming some TTRPG in the future?
Not directly, I would say, but I do want to stream at least a one shot or so, just to test the waters. I'm not promising that I will run a full campaign like on stream, but I want to test it out. I want to see how it goes. I don't know who I get for a streamed game yet, and I don't know if I want to play in the same world that I have created, because like my whole game world is inspired by the JRPG that I used to make. Like all the monsters and some of the places, but like added on top of that, like that's what I really like. The D&D is so much easier to plan than a fucking video game. Like I just write things down, and things become real, and like I get to make maps and Hero Forge figurines and stuff. Like I fucking love to make like NPCs for my campaign.
Yeah, to sort of take off that the one thing I've learned most of all when it comes to D&D is you only have to plan as far as the players' foots are able to step.
Yes. I kind of plan. Either I plan like a little bit. I think I always plan a little bit too much. Like I think I'm underprepared for stuff. But like ultimately, like I don't know. Like last session, I think they discovered only like what 65% or something. I don't know. Like they haven't gone through like the whole thing. Because my players right now are in some building right now, and they got attacked by robots in the last session, and yeah, I thought they would go further, but battles take a lot of time, and also exploring a 3-story building takes also a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Ruby, you
So,
said
yeah,
something that is very powerful. I quote, I write things down and then I make them real. That is
Yes.
a powerful statement,
Yes.
right?
Like
Do you want some encounter quickening help?
encounter quickening help.
Yeah, make your fights faster.
Okay, tell me something.
Pro tip: delegate responsibility. Like, this is the thing that I don't like about modern games so much, is that they kind of chain too much responsibility onto the DM, and anybody's going to be overwhelmed with all the stuff you're supposed to do, right? It's the whole Matt Mercer effect type of thing, because he's just so awesome and so capable. Hey, initiative, put that one of your players. Make your players do initiative, right? Make one of your players do initiative, and then make another one of your players be the rules person, right? Whoever that is, right? In one of my games way back in the day, we had a guy that we called Rulebook. That was literally his name. It was not a pejorative. It was a term of endearment. And he would just call it straight. He would call it clean every time. He'd be like, okay, this is what the rule is in the rule book. DM, how do you adjudicate this? Right? But he would never try to like read the rule in such a way that would benefit the players if he was a player. You know what I'm saying? He'd be like, boom, here's the rule. So we called him Rulebook. I still have him in one of my games to this day because he's just an amazing player. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I agree with
but yeah.
that.
I
Delegation for
gotta
sure.
look into that. I mean, I have no problem of like managing a fight, really. I mean, to an extent. Sometimes I kind of get wobbled up with the initiative order, but then I'm like, you know what, rule of cool, fuck it. Like in the end of the day, I'm there to give the players a cool story and like experience the players like role play and stuff, because all my players that I have, like they are all experienced DMs and players, except for I think like one of them. And they, I can just leave them alone, and they will play something, and I love that. I love to have such a group.
Here's another couple quick things. You can just say players go first, or you can do group initiative. This is something you can steal from the old style games. You
Oh yeah,
just
that's
like
in Shadow of the Demon Lord 2, where players go first. I love the Shadow of the Demon Lord.
Oh yeah, it is so slick.
Initiative stuff. It's so good.
Agreed.
I'm even thinking of maybe like making that a thing in my second campaign or something, just because I love the initiative thing so much. But like players also like rolling dice, so I mean technically they still got to do that, just not for initiative. But then like some of the features are kind of like, you know, picking an alert feed or something is kind of then I don't.
You can just say, hey, alert feed's banned because I'm going to do group initiative. Bada bing, bada boom, done.
Okay.
And then the players will be like, cool.
Yeah.
Or you
that's
can
why it's-
rewrite the alert feed to do other things.
Yeah,
True,
yeah.
true.
I mean that's why there's homebrew, and that's why it's so fucking important to have a session 0.
Ooh, and we will talk about session zeros as well. We'll probably let's do that next session 0. But I guess I don't want to be left out either. So
No,
yes.
you go. Like, what is your inspiration? I mean, we have like some amazing time together with like Shadow of the Demon Lord, and you also take stuff from memes and stuff.
Right, right. I'm always trying to still liberally. Like, one episode last season was basically the first half of the episode was a rip of a Firefly episode, and then the second half was a rip on Aliens movie. So, you know, whatever I enjoy. But as far as like, hey, welcome in here, Yella. As far as like this season, Mask of God, the only thing I really had was like watching Twixie play and other streamers play Cult of the Lamb, and I was like, well, y'all fight cults a lot. Wouldn't it be cool if y'all were in a cult? And then I just, that's all I had. I had the idea, had the episode 1, and I've just been relying on your backstories and NPCs and information you gave me to push it forward. So far, that's all. So I do each episode by the seat of my pants. So right now, I need to prep for episode 4. I have written down what all shit went down in episode 3 that needs to be resolved. Now let's work from there. And then also, oh, thanks. And also, I think it was John Harper, the author of Blades in the Dark. I watched a live play of his, and that inspired me to do the television show / movie scene by scene play style. And I thought it would be really cool for stream to have that kind of thing instead of, you know, trying to do like long drawn out things, just like, oh, you're going here, okay, the scene changes. Instead of having to describe certain things, you know, make it truncated a little bit. But yeah. So, speaking of session zeros, Atsu, how are your session zeros?
Depends. But I like to have them much more informal than most. I basically just put out a notice or, you know, tell my players, hey, I want to do this game at this time, bring snacks and beer, bring a level 0 character, these feats are banned, these feats are not, these races are banned, these races are not, show up. And they show up. But I have a group of players that I can trust to be good players and be present and be there and want to sit down and play the game that I want to run. Also, I run a lot of public games, so you really can't have much of a session 0 during like a public game or a convention style game.
True.
Right? And especially with public facing events, like I help host a gaming event down in the next town over once a month. So you're basically taking in all comers, and you could have you know, actual literal children playing your game, right? And say this is like little Timmy Sue's first game ever. Not even kidding, that happened a couple months ago. And I'm like, oh, I'm playing a game where like dark adult cult things are happening. Gonna have to take this down to PG-13. Let's go.
now the demon's made of gumdrops. All right.
Oh my gosh, I got a really funny story real quick. I was running games at Gen Con 2018. This is Gen Con 2018. And I ran a lot of tables and they tend to all blend together, but this one I remember very distinctly. It was like a Gen X goth couple, and then there was the clueless uncle who had his niece and nephew with him. None of them had played D&D before, okay? And it just so happened to pick my table at Gen Con, at all the tables in Gen Con, to sit down and learn the Durgans and Dugans. By the way, I was running a steampunk style game in 5th edition. Like, this is a very weird table to, you know, cut your teeth on. And the little girl, let's call her Spider-Gwen, because she was wearing a Spider-Gwen costume. We're going through the first battle, where zombies have fallen off of a hearse in the middle of a city, and now they're like alchemically reanimated, and they're trying to eat a baby. And the nephew had scored a crit with a gun, right? And I'm describing the crit because it's about to pop the zombie's head, and I'm like, verily you shoot, and your aim is true, and bullet sends its way through the zombie skull, and the zombie skull explodes into, and then I look at the kids. Pixelation and pixie dust. The little girl, who could have been no older than 10, glowers at me. She like squints her eyes at me and she says, I have the internet, you know. She's like, how dare you? You're ruining my gory experience with your bullshit.
Hell yeah.
Don't censor my fantasy. How dare you?
I play God of War, I'll have you know.
She's over there like, I play Space Station 13. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, I will never forget that.
So yeah, Atsu, you were talking about for your session 0 for like a one shot, but what about like for Shadows over Waypoint Keep? How did that session 0 take place?
We had a formal session 0. Okay, we sat down, we made characters together, which allowed the players to, because as you know, in Shadow of the Demon Lord, you roll randomly on tables to figure out what the heck your character is. Like you pick the race, and then you're off to the races. You know what I'm saying?
I mean that's also an optional rule. Usually I do pick my stuff.
Yeah. Oh, when you play,
I didn't read that rule because I made them roll for shit.
When you play a RPG, everything is an optional rule.
Yeah.
But please continue. Sorry.
As they were rolling up these characters, they were starting to make connections like, you know, our characters might know each other from this, and this. Or, my character might be from this place, or might be a noble, or might be pantomiming as a noble that she killed because she was a changeling, and that's really fucking dark and awesome. And then we had a practice combat because none of these people had ever played Shadow of the Demon Lord before, and the combat in Shadow of the Demon Lord is unique and different enough that you really need to like get some time behind the stick. You know what I'm saying? And that was the titular battle where I one-shotted Glacier's character in the first round with a fire-wielding mage. Okay, I just managed to roll a 20 to get an extra d6, and then rolled like 11 damage, which is exactly what you had. And as you know, if you take your maximum health and damage, boom, you die. I still have not heard the end of that from Glacier.
Gee, I wonder why.
I would be in retaliation, so fucking upset.
Oh, she was livid, right? So in retaliation, I made that monster the very first encounter in the actual game.
Hell yeah.
I made her face her fears every step of the way. So yeah.
I want to throw in a fun story, Atsu.
By all means, it's your show, man.
No, I got to play with Schwab at a convention. He was running a one-shot of Demon Lord.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, got him to sign my core book. But we had level 2 pre-gens. I chose the Goblin, of course. First combat was a Minotaur.
Oh,
Kills me in one hit.
Bruh.
Huh.
And he was like, hey, it's a convention. We'll just say you're knocked out, but so you don't waste the next 3 hours just sitting around. It's like, thank you, Mr. Schwab. You are a kind and generous demon lord. But yeah. but first roll of combat, he fucking axes my goblin straight up dead. So yeah, that's my fun story. Sorry. Did you have anything else about your session 0 before I move it to Gab?
Nope, move it to Gab.
Gab, tell us about your scheduled conflict session 0. How did that go about?
Oh boy, that is a funny story because before the world is even developed, before I've even actually sat down to be like, all right, where are these places I'm taking them? What are the names of these countries and continents? Like, the world hasn't even been built yet. And I'm already getting DMs from the Charity Goblin Ruby.
Yep. Yep.
Being like, not only have I made my character, but I have made their complete backstory in 2 pages. I'm just like, what the? Slow down!
Yep. I have had a similar experience with Charity Goblin Ruby.
Look, they're like so excited to be part of something, like, because I've already picked my players at this point, and it's just like, all right, the way I roll my session zeros is like, and this is just like weeks in advance of just like actually sitting down for a session zero, just like, all right, I want you to come to the table with like a character you already have in mind. Trust me, if you have a story, I will be able to fit it in the world, because the world isn't even built yet.
And that's cool too, with players coming up with stuff they can add to your world.
Well, exactly. I mean, it makes the world more theirs, so to speak. It like they're a part of it, because I'm literally just working off of what they've given me, and just like, all right, I'm going to establish it here, here, and here. Ruby comes to the table. It's like, not only do I already have my Hero Forge model and a full character sheet, I have the backstory. These are my parents. They have a long lineage of dwarves. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Hey, is this a Ruby thing or something?
Like I was given like
I think it's
I was
a
given
Ruby
a family tree. I was given a full family tree of like, there is no way I'm going to be able to do anything with this, because we're probably never going to explore that deep. But it's very nice to have it. Meanwhile, we cut over to another player, our wonderful Red Mario Gob, who's just like, I'm like a fish out of water robot who's never experienced anything before. Go nuts.
Done.
Just done.
Nice.
So those are the 2 spectrums I have to deal with, and everything else in between.
Yep.
My session zeros go more the lines of like, all right, here's the lore that is universally known, like even the common folks know this, so this is kind of your baseline of just like how you establish yourselves in the world. Aside from that, it's mostly just like, okay, I have these little rules on the table, I have these homebrew rules on the table, just to make it a more lively experience for myself and for you guys. And it's mostly like getting a gauge of where their limitations are. And the one big question I ask each of the players is like, what is something you have never done on a tabletop that you've always wanted to do? And I write it down.
That's a good
question. I write it down, and I'm just like, all right, by the end of this campaign, you are going to have done that.
Good fucking
so
question.
It's kind of like already setting up like, all right, you're in this world, you have these players, this is what you want to do. I, as the DM, will make it possible for you to experience this.
Hell yeah. I freaking love that.
Hell yeah.
I think I'm gonna take that advice too. That's going to be a question I'm gonna ask for the next
By all means.
session zero.
Yeah.
It's
I
really
mean,
cool.
that's another thing for this DM roundtable, to freaking steal ideas from each other. Fuck yeah.
Because in an IRL campaign, like an offline campaign I did, a person wanted to bend reality in some meaningful way. It took them to get to level 8 or 17 for that to finally come true. Because back in, I'd say around level 7 or so, they had a moment where they couldn't counterspell something. A very powerful spell from a demi-lich. And out of the blue, I was just like, make one more roll. Make one more roll to counterspell this. And I held on to that. I held on to that little gift I gave them. And I brought it all the way to level 17.
That's sneaky.
And I'm just like, because at level 17, they're dealing with like an evil mage who does time magic. And that wizard sent her back to that moment where she couldn't fight the demi-lich, her friends were going to die, and her level 17 character counterspelled the demi-lich retroactively.
Oh, that's awesome!
Holy shit!
Love it.
I'm getting goosebumps from that. Holy fuck!
I know. That makes
Sounds
me
like
think of Ruby.
It makes me think of Ginkgo.
Yeah, exactly. But please continue. I don't want to cut you off.
And I just hit that check mark on the box, like mission accomplished. And
Hell yeah.
and it can be as complicated as that. I know in scheduled conflict campaign, TG Omega, he said he wants to have his name put in the landscape in some meaningful way. Like he actually wants something named after him, like a town, a statue, just something. So I'm kind of like getting that one because in the last game he was just like, I want to do Gallagher stuff. I just want to just obliterate everything in like a mash of jam. I'm just like, you, sir, are going to get that. And I probably gave him a weapon pretty much overpowered, but it was overpowered on purpose because it was literally a holy weapon forged by gods that chose him as their champion. So it's like he earned that right to swing a hammer and just Gallagher big ass enemies. Like again, just Spectrum sort of stuff, like reality bending, Gallagher. Yep, we got everything.
That's so cool.
And I am just the medium in which to project that onto them.
Oh yeah, that reminds me of Ruby's character Ginkgo from my last campaign. She mentioned she was going into time magic. She was like, "Oh, it'd be really cool if I like maybe went back in time to prevent the apocalypse or something." I was like, "Yeah, that's a cool idea, but there's no time magic that does that except for like level 10 time magic, which is not attainable for a character in Shadow of the Demon Lord." So I just put that in the back of my mind. I'll bring that up later. And then once we were nearing the end of the campaign, I was like, shit, I think I know a way I can bring it back. What if she's already traveled back in time and warned the devil?
Whoa!
It was like it was funny because like this character, I was like not really like everyone had like their plot relevant stuff. And on like I think like in the last 2 sessions or something, like my character suddenly became plot relevant. All I was like I was just a power up for the others beforehand, and like the voice of reason.
Mm-hmm.
But then it turns out that she had already fought the in time creature, and with the magic of that creature was able to craft a spell to send her back in time with only enough life left to warn the first person she saw, which was the devil before he was the devil.
I loved it.
Yes. Oh, fun times. What? Okay. Sorry. Ruby, what about your session zeros? Or zero?
Well, that one session 0 that I had, I basically just took, well, so what do I need to know? I need to know the time, and since like the thing is I picked my players very, very carefully. Like I've only picked players that I had played previously with, and people that I knew I can trust, be it with like being there actually, and also being like good players, like players that would like I don't know, like not do anything totally outlandish, like fighting against their own party or whatever. Like I can trust these players and so on and so on. So my session 0 was very tame. Yeah, we only talked about like, hey, so I'm gonna show you a little bit of the world. Like I had this huge world map. I talked a little bit about what these places are like in concept, because like they are not fleshed out yet. Just like in Gob's story right now, like I had like this world, and it's about to be made basically, and like I just had general ideas, and I asked the players, what do you want to play? Like you know, I will find a place, or I can give you places where you could be from. And so yeah, so basically they gave me what I can work with, and I placed them all in one spot, and that's basically it. I'm so sad. Like I you know what, we need to have this kind of thing like a 1 year later when maybe I had like a few other games I was able to run or something, so I have like more experience in like talking about these things.
Oh, but yeah, I definitely wanted to bring you because you have the least amount of experience, and I wanted to get your take and your information about it.
That is true. I would just wish I had more funny stories because I mean but like this is something for a later topic, but like it's funny that you all have like these crazy experience with Atsu being in like running a convention game, and like Gob with the other Ruby having like this huge backstory and stuff. Like my players were pretty tame, I gotta say. Like, and it's a very, very pleasant experience. I kind of do because like I mean they also were like they started level 2 or something, so they didn't really had like much backstory to go on, I think. But I think for the second campaign I'm gonna give you all more freedom with stuff because that's like my whole concept. Like everything I do like in this first campaign right now, I'm learning so much that I want to carry over into the second campaign.
Oh, and to piggyback off of that, that is the main way to get better as a DM is experience. Just keep DMing, and every session you gain more experience points and more experience points.
Oh yeah, just do it and you level up.
Hell yeah.
Level up your DM experience.
Shall we get into the next question then?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
because I haven't gone yet.
We still
Jeez.
have
Oh no! I skipped you in the initiative. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Mally.
No, but yeah, my session 0, at least for Mask of God, I had the basic concept. I was like, hey, I want to run a game where y'all are becoming members of a cult of the devil. Are y'all cool with that? Cool. All right, well, give me a bullet point backstory. I don't need nothing big, though Twixie did send me a 5-page backstory.
Oh Lord!
that's Trixie for you.
Right on time.
I have read one paragraph.
But I was like, yeah, give me bullet points and at least one NPC that you're friendly with and one NPC that you're unfriendly with. Give me those and I'll work with the rest. And if you give me more, I'll work with it. And yeah, that's what I got. And Ruby being in my campaign, making all the Hero Forge models, just my game looks good thanks to Ruby. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad I can be of service.
But yeah, that's the main thing. I want to have NPCs to work off of, and a little bit of backstory so I can throw in. So that's how I go about it. And like I said, I'm just doing it session by session, flying off the seat of my pants, just working with what I got the previous session and what I built on with the session 0. But yeah, on to the next question. We have a question from Karashat. And we can go into general, so the question is, what are your experiences, if any, with TTRPGs originating from non-English background? So maybe we can actually broaden this question, and if you have experience on that, focus on that as well. But any other TTRPG experience besides D&D? Let's go with you, Atsu.
Oh boy. There is more than a few Japanese role-playing games like Fatima Ultima, Goblin Slayer the RPG. Trying to think of the other ones.
Excuse me.
Ban at.
Hey, look, in Goblin Slayer the RPG, there is literal bikini mail that you can wear. It's a thing. It's in the book.
Yeah, but I bet you can't play a goblin.
No, you cannot play a goblin.
Worst game.
Worst game.
Wrong audience, I think.
Yeah, very wrong audience.
Tough crowd.
The Brazilian TTRPG scene is pretty big. They've got a lot of they're in love with the OSR down there. Trying to think. But you're asking, like, in general, what games have I played? Like what oh my gosh.
Yeah. If you want to like do a little rundown of some games you played, and if you have experience in the foreign, quote unquote, foreign games.
I've never sat down and like played at like a TTRPG session in another language. It's always been English, irregardless of, you know, where the other people have come from. I've played with a lot of international people, but they tend to always play in English. I think the English language serves the TTRPG scene very well. Like, for example, in Japanese, there's really no way to say you. There is, the word is called anata, but the context of that word is you would only use it, I would only use it, say, if I was like married to someone, or if they are like we are about to get married. That is the only way I would use that word you.
What do you
So
mean?
they
You're
really
married to the
don't
game.
have they really don't have a way of saying you make your way down into the cave and you find several potholes along the way. They can't say that. There's no second person. So they have to do it either third person or first person, which kind of breaks verisimilitude at the table, you know what I mean? So one of the big culprits of this is the Mac Venture games. I'm going into video games in here real quick, just as an example. Actually, I'm gonna play a game called Shadowgate on Thursday for the NES. Right? But it was released in 1989 or 1990, but it was released first in the West and then got ported over to Japan, which is the complete opposite way that games typically traveled back in the day. When it got ported over to Japanese, the Japanese fucking hated it because they had to switch it to first person. And now you've got this character saying, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And tonally, that comes off to the Japanese as, this guy's just a big-headed idiot, right? It totally takes them out of the experience. Instead of having a powerful voice coming from above, talking them directly in second person, which is much better for putting yourself into the situation. So I've noticed very much so that people tend to use English irregardless of their background when it comes to TTRPGs. I know in Chile, I had a very good friend in Chile. They like the 7th Sea RPG. They like the 7th Sea, and they like Vampire the Masquerade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Vampire the Masquerade is huge internationally.
I love Vampire
especially in
Masquerade.
South America and Europe.
Gotten a chance to play Vampire the Masquerade, but that was the first game that I nearly got to play in way back before I even knew how to play. But it didn't happen.
But I'm going to I'm not going to tell you all the games that I've ever played because that would completely dominate the conversation. Let's just say I started with 2nd edition AD&D back in 1995. I've played every edition of D&D since then, including 4th edition. And yes, I liked it when it came out because I realized, it did good things, but it would have been a much better game if it didn't have the name D&D on it. But that's a whole other discussion. Like I said, I'm in love with the OSR, so I've played games like Shadow Dark and Dungeon Crawl Classics, Mutant Crawl Classics, Under a Broken Moon, Old School Essentials, Swords and Wizardry. I'm working on putting together a chainmail game, which is I'm working on putting together a white box game. I've played white box before. Just various editions of D&D and their extrapolated OSR equivalents, you know what I mean?
Nice.
But yeah, I'm gonna throw the ball over to Gob at this point.
Oh boy, I am in the complete opposite spectrum of you out there. You have all of these different little lineups here. I'm just like, I played D&D once.
And nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, like I mean, I can at least get started like back in God, what was it, 2011? I want to say, back when 3.5e was the thing going around. That was my first introduction of just like, hey, our friends are getting together. We're gonna play this weird game. Only had a D20. We didn't know how to play the game.
Nice.
We were doing the dumbest things. And I really do mean that. I'm like, we crawled into a dungeon and fought Zombie Jesus. You know, just palling around together, just having a big freaking laugh.
Nice.
The first time I ever played something outside of Dungeons and Dragons was, in fact, Vampire the Masquerade, which huge on story, huge story.
Yeah.
It is incredible how much they like dissect the different varieties of vampires you can play, the lineages and families you can do, and how they uphold the masquerade, so to speak. And it's hilarious because the gameplay can be deduced down to a simple play of rock, paper, scissors. And if you lose, you just start spending specific points in the game to just do another game of rock, paper, scissors until you win. That's how easy the conflicts can get solved when you're literally like going under gunfire against an eldritch entity of just like, I'm going to spend blood to just completely unleash like blood bullets on it. And he's like, all right, rock, paper, scissors. All right. Against eldritch monsters. I'm just like, all right.
Nice.
So like my experience with other tabletop games is very limited. But I don't think that that hinders my overall experiences with it.
Oh, no, not at all, not at all. But that is going to be on my list, Gob, to introduce you to at least one or two other systems one of these days, just for fun.
Yeah, same.
You gotta play Dungeons of the Demon, Darkest Demon. God damn it!
Dungeons
Shadow
of
of
the
the
Shadow
Demon
of
Lord.
the Demon Lord.
The darkness of the demons of the slaying monster demon slaying beast killers.
Nice.
Got
Part
it.
2.
Nailed it.
Real quick, I just want to say one of the most interesting games that I've ever played and ran extensively is this game called Broadsword. It is basically Hero Quest, the board game, with RPG elements. It is made by my very good friend, Keldern. And I am going to, well, it's not working. Hold on. I'm going to drop the link here because I want my man to get paid. It's an amazing game.
Drop the link for me, and I'll drop the link for you.
That's an interesting link there.
Bam.
How about you, Rube? Any, it makes me think, have you heard of the German RPG, The Dark Eye?
Oh, I was going to just mention it.
Sorry.
In German, it's called Das Schwarze Auge, DSA. And I've never played it, but I've seen it. I've seen a homebrew version of it, like where a lot of the like mechanics are taken over from that system. I don't know if like I would have to play it myself, but like it feels like a system that is very much like it's very easy to fail stuff because you need to roll like for a check like 3 times in order to see if you can do it or whatever. At least that's what I know from it. And like instead of you rolling up, you roll down. So like a 1 is a critical success and a 20 is a critical miss. That's all I know about the system. But I have actually so my main experience is with D&D, and now kind of also with Shadow of the Demon Lord, thanks to you. But like I don't know. I have my first game I've ever had was actually Pathfinder, 1E, like back in 2012. The funniest thing is I did, because like they didn't had goblins as a core race. I picked a human, but that human could speak goblin, and I still have the character sheet today. And that was before I ever even like thought of becoming a goblin on the internet. So the signs were all here. It's kind of funny. I've played a system that is called How to Be a Hero, and it's also a German one that was made by some. They are called the Rocket Beans. And
Rocket Beans.
yeah, they are like a German YouTube channel that focuses mostly on video games, but like they had like their own campaign and stuff. And the How to Be a Hero thing, I used to play that in like one of my first online groups, like when I really like started out like getting regularly into a TTRPG, and it was one of the worst experiences ever. Well, technically not, because it started out fine, but like the DM was a fucking asshole. He would run a lot of games, and like he would pick favorites a lot. So like one time we were his favorite group, and then like after, I don't know, like 3 sessions or something, he picked another one that was a favorite and stuff, and you could really feel like it was kind of like with the paladin situation. Like I had like the whole situation there already. And the system is also, it's like coming from now, like from D&D and everything, where you know you kind of like you have like set skills and stuff. In How to Be a Hero, you make your own skills, which can be fun, but if you don't have a session 0, then and you don't know what you're doing, then like making a character is like really, really hard, because like you can fuck up so much. You can make like the worst character ever if you not know what you're doing. I really prefer systems where it's like Pathfinder 2E. It has a wonderful character creation. I can really recommend checking it out. And it's really, really hard to make a useless character in Pathfinder 2E if you like, even if you're not knowing what you're doing. But like in that system, you need guidance. You need someone to tell you, okay, so you need at least these skills, because even perception is a skill that you need to write down in that system. Otherwise, you don't have it. A simple act of like looking around and searching for something, if you don't have the skill, it's going to be very, very hard for you. So yeah, I had some experience with Shadowrun. I had some experience with a game called Splittermond. It's also, I think, another German RPG. And I think that one is mostly based on the Savage World systems, where you get like higher dice to roll, like depending on like how good you are, and like a 4 is always a success or something. I don't know. I think we kind of lost the initial question. What was the initial question?
Well, I broadened it out, but the initial question: any experiences with TTRPGs originating from non-English background?
Oh yeah. I have some experience with like German TTRPGs, and I don't think they work for me. Honestly, like I don't know. Like is Pathfinder is English, right? I don't know what. Yeah, but like I have no good experience with German TTRPGs.
The only
I don't know why.
The only non-English TTRPG that I've ran for more than one session that I know of off the top of my head is the Welcome to the War Band Sleeping Feather. The Swedish TTRPG Symbaroum. And that is it's kind of got Shadow of the Demon Lord vibes. It's pretty fun. It's a dark setting as well, but it's mainly about exploring like this wilderness. So like I guess there was like this like undead army that kind of wiped out the main empire, and everybody had to find refuge in like in the wilderness. And then there's like a dark forest that people are exploring and stuff. It has goblins as a core race, so that's a bonus.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And it's interesting. Character creation's pretty cool. I like that. And I'm going to go on a tangent. I like the DM side of things because I love Powered by the Apocalypse games. So the DM in Symbaroum and in most Powered by the Apocalypse does not have to roll dice. So that's one less thing on the DM's plate, and I enjoy those kind of systems. So one day I will introduce a few people to at least either Dungeon World or Mask, a new generation, if you want to do a little superhero. Though Mask is more about teen drama with superhero on the side. I know I'm not a good sell for that, but my favorite game that I've been a player in IRL was a game my friend ran of Mask, and he based it kind of off of My Hero Academia setting kind of feel, and it was a badass game.
Actually, I think my bad experiences are always coming down to like bad DMs. Because like what I said before, actually in private to you, Mally, I think like there's any system can work if you have a good DM and a good group, and it doesn't really matter like what the rule system is. You just need a good group.
Agreed, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, like a bad player will give it a little hindrance, but you can always kick out a bad player. You can't kick a bad DM.
I mean, you kick. What I did, I just kicked myself from the game.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, that's the only
was just-
solution at that point. You leave.
Yep.
Just leave.
Easy as that. Well, chat, if you have any questions for the DMs, please link them in chat. You can do I made the highlight message only like 10 points, so if you want to highlight it and all that, yeah, ask questions. But
Please ask me questions. Ask me all the questions. I love the questions. Oh, as I was running to grab another cup of coffee, Shadowrun. Shadowrun's another game that I've played and ran. Oh, so good. I love the combination, the flow and the mixing of like hyper sci-fi, cyberpunk, magic and guns and swords and just like various fantasy races, and so good. That's why I always prefer Shadowrun over cyberpunk.
I love the setting in Shadowrun.
Same.
I absolutely like. I wish I would. I do want a core goblin race in Shadowrun, but like otherwise Shadowrun is pretty cool. I don't really like having only D6s. I would prefer if we had more dice. I
do like game. D6, but it's D6 dice pool. Like you get to pick up 18 D6 and just like.
Yeah, but then I could also play Warhammer.
That sounds like a lot of counting.
You can get fast at it. It's surprisingly like how fast you can get at it. But I agree. Love the lore and the setting of Shadowrun. Hate the fucking game for the most part.
If a spider falls 30 feet, does it take fall damage?
I would have to look into the rules. I would say yes, maybe a D6.
That depends on whether or not it's falling under its own power and volition.
Or if it has featherfall.
If a spider has featherfall, you've got other problems.
It's like why do we have jumping wall spiders?
So, quick story related to the spider falling problem is I'm running this OSE game on Sunday nights for my community. And anybody in my community is welcome to just join in, grab a first level character, and get to going for golden glory. Like simple, like very very bare bones campaign. But the first session, they were all in jail, and they were told, okay, we'll clear you of all your charges if you spend 1 day on the wall defending the city of Ulbenhold, right? And they're like, yeah, that sounds like cakewalk, cool. Just so happens the day that they show up on the wall to defend, 42 spiders attacked that side of the palisades. 42 of them. I rolled right in front of them, baby. That's the other thing. I roll in front of my players. Everything. So they know that I'm not fudging the rolls ever, right? That's just bringing up my cleric's trauma. Oh man.
And that's when I had a depth of fear of spiders.
As the spiders were heading towards the palisade wall, there was this seminal scene where they were like webbing to like vault themselves up so they could slingshot themselves onto the wall, and the players thinking outside the box started cutting the lines at just the right time so they would sling themselves either over the wall and take fall damage or right into the wall and splat. And that really served to like thin down the initial numbers, the initial attack, and bought them a precious round of time. So yes, spiders can fall and take falling damage. It's happened in my games.
Nice. Excellent answer, Atsu.
Yeah.
And I love it when the
Maybe.
players work together like that.
I maybe have a question if you're okay with that. Oh wait, there's a question from the chat actually.
Do any of you have a fun story about an NPC your players got involved with more than you expected, like romantically, being suspicious, adopting a goblin, etc., etc.? Yes, I do.
Oh my god, yes, actually too.
Pop off, King. Pop off.
So, in the campaign, in my IRL campaign, we played a Wild Mount campaign, the Critical Role world.
Weird amount.
And there was like a pre-made like level 1 to 3 to get you started in the world. There were these kobolds that were working for like a mad scientist like character who had implanted bombs in their bellies.
Ugh.
And our party grew attached to these. Did I say goblins? I meant kobolds.
Okay.
It was kobolds.
Kobold.
Same difference.
How dare
No, how dare you? You're not making friends today, Atsu.
Last time I bring a cat man on my stream.
They got so attached to these kobolds that our artificer, Captain Eagle Eye, was trying to build a crew, and he was just like, "Oh, the downtrodden, the oppressed. I will give them a second chance on this crew," and one of them, by the end of the game, ended up becoming the first mate Knick-Knack. And boy howdy, like we gave him sidekick stats, we gave him like all these different little tricks he could do, and he was like an integral part of the ship that our artificer was building. So suffice to say, I was not expecting kobolds to become so involved in their story, but they adopted 4 of them. They had Knick-Knack, they had Lock and Key, and they had a twins pair named Diggy and Iggy. And they were all part of the pirate crew, except Lock and Key. Lock and Key, unfortunately, met a fatal end. God rest his soul.
Love it.
But the rest made it all the way to the end of the campaign.
I will say this to support your story. Never ever, and this is for everybody, never ever underestimate your player's ability to adopt NPCs into their party.
Yes.
Never ever
Yes.
underestimate that.
I have
If they are in any way cute or endearing or cool or whatever, they will get scooped up big time.
How about you all? Any strange attachments or sort of interactions with NPCs that you were not expecting to go too deep into?
So, I had this for one. Like I had this guy planned. He's like a Genasi, Earth Genasi monk, and like in the second session of my campaign, he was one of the enemies that the group was supposed to fight in an arena to prove themselves to become like true adventurers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like part of a group that would fight them. And when he lost, I wanted him to get like a goal to defeat the player I mean the character that he lost to. So that one was our rogue, and and one of the random encounters they would get while they were traveling to another place was like to meet this guy again, and he would challenge the one he was defeated by, to get his honor back and stuff. Like he's this like I had Vegeta in mind when making him, or like Sasuke or whatever, like typical shonen rival trope basically. And like they had this fight, and Erebus the rogue would win again, and the party adopted him for a short time. The monk, they adopted him for a short time to do a dungeon with him, because like I think like Rebus did some really good rolls on persuasion, like calming him down and stuff, and trying to get him as an ally. And I love this so much, so I just ran with it. And yeah, that was the first time, kind of like where I experienced like, oh, okay, they are just going to adopt this guy now. Okay, sure.
Yeah, and it's
And
definitely
then
one
now,
of those things you just gotta like roll with it.
yeah, and now they are like joking about like that they are two gay friends and stuff.
Oh boy.
What about you, Atsu? What attachments have your characters gone on a little too long for?
All right, I'll give you one story. So at the height of the pandemic, we're talking April 2020. Okay, everything's shutting down. We can't game in person. So what I did was I ran 2 iterations of the first book of the Starfinder Adventure Path, Attack of the Swarm, but I didn't run it in Starfinder. I converted it to the Only War rule set of the Warhammer 40K tabletop role-playing game. Okay, and now if you know anything about Only War, it's when everybody's playing a guardsman, so it was an all guardsman party. And
Oh boy.
I had 2 iterations of this game, and one of the iterations of this game, they met together in the second book. There's 6 books, and in the first book, one of the groups was like, okay, so we need a driver, we need an operator, because we just got this like swanky ass truck to go do a mission, and none of us know how to drive. Like, we know how to operate the vehicle, but we don't know how to do the kind of high flying tricks that we need in order to get to where we need to go. Cool. And I was like, all right, well, cool. Roll to find operator. And my player, who was Reaver Captain, by the way, this is Reaver Captain. He's like, I want to find the mousiest, smallest, most like, broken, out of place operator. Like, no one's gonna notice when we swipe them up. Okay. I was like, oh, perfect. And they rolled for it, and I was like, okay, you find this Cadian, this soldier not from your outfit, and she's just kind of wandering around the motor pool, just kind of lost in a haze. It kind of looks like she's the last remaining member of her squad, and the Reaver Captain's character, whose name is Suka Blyachikov, by the way. He made it a joke character because he didn't expect it to live. And in retaliation, I made him the protagonist. I made him the main character. He was the hero of the campaign. With all of the, trials and tribulations thereof. And it was just like this little 18-year-old girl who, you know, got swept up by this first sergeant and was like, you will drive first. And she's like, okay. And 3 real life years later, she's still part of the group. She has survived that long. And now she is probably one of the most skilled tank aces in their section of space. Like, she's that damn good because she's leveled up with the party. And is basically considered, she's not a hireling, she's basically considered a DMPC at this point.
What do you think of DM NPCs? Like, how do you think they're good for the party? Do you think they are bad for the party? What is your take on that?
They can be very good for the party. I tend to make DMPCs that are supports, like support roles. Perfect example: Shadow the Demon Lord. Of the 4 players that were playing, I had 2 warriors, a rogue, and a mage. And I was like, I want to beat the brakes off of these guys on the regular, so they're gonna need a healer. So I got to come up with a healer, and they managed to meet one of the secret characters in the first map of the game, right? And her name was Anna Squire. And Anna Squire was a young girl who had also been experimented on, and she basically, her whole body had been burned away, and she was nothing more than a blackened husk of a skeleton, right? That was like just alchemically held together. Her soul was in the skeleton, but that was it. And she had no voice, couldn't say anything. She was complete mute. So that was a big challenge. I had to like emote. I had to like tell them what she was doing. I had to describe it, which was very helpful to both them and the audience watching. And they just absolutely fell in love with her, right? And I just played her like a scared, innocent, but ultimately brave person who has just been thrust into this crazy situation and is just trying to make sense of it all, right? And, you know, the way she makes sense of it all is to become extremely god-pilled and, you know, join the cult of the new god, and supplement all questions with faith, right?
Yeah.
But oh my god, yeah, just ask any of my players. They absolutely, yeah. Poor Kith. She did a noble sacrifice play at the end of the game, and then she wrote letters. Like, I actually physically wrote letters, took pictures of them, then sent them to my players at the right time, like when their characters would receive the letters. Props, by the way. Props really make the game go. Props can make the game into an 11 out of 10 for sure, right? And I had them crying at the end on stream. I kind of felt bad. Like, I didn't mean to hit them that hard. And they are still talking about her months later. So I think DMPCs can be extremely good for your campaign, but I think ultimately they need to be in a support role, right? You don't want them taking the spotlight. That's for the players. The spotlight is for the players. First and foremost, forever and always, right?
Agreed, 100%.
Yeah, I do agree. I think like any DM who is like, oh no, I want my heroes to shine, and you are just basically you're just witnesses to my greatness. Like that's bullshit.
Yeah. And the support role, quote unquote, doesn't always have to be the white mage archetype. It doesn't always have to be like healing and buffing, though that does help, right? So for the soldier girl in the wartime campaign, she was their driver. She was the one who operated the vehicle. So, and you know, if the vehicle had weapons on it, they could use the weapons. And guess what? It's really cool to shoot weapons while the gun, you know, while the thing's going. But they're basically on a rail shooter at that point. But they didn't care. They didn't care because they got to shoot the guns. Oh, right.
I mean, that sounds like a fucking great time.
I'm gonna.
And also, I mean, if they wanted her to do a thing, all they had to do was order her to do it. She would do it, right? She was an asset. She was a resource, right? She made their lives easier so they could shoot the bugs and have the fun, right? She was a facilitator for the fun. She got them, and she also drove them to the places to do the things so they could have the fun.
Yes.
But a support rogue could also be, four hirelings forming a shield wall for a bunch of caster characters so they can cast their spells without getting rolled over every time they roll initiative. Right? So your mileage may vary. Like your support role doesn't always have to be the white mage archetype.
Oh yeah, I mean, like it would be like, imagine having like a healer in the group already, and you take that away by having a DM NPC being
Exactly.
the healer. Like you want
Exactly.
something that fills the missing role in the group.
Yeah, agreed.
Because for me, like as a player, I love playing healers, and also because I see it in the chat. I love cooking. I love being the cook in a game. Like for example, in the Pathfinder 2E that I'm part of now, like I'm actually the healer and the cook, and like I buff people. If someone would take that away from me, I don't know how I feel about that really.
I would exercise a word of caution though, when it comes to DMPCs, like having important things like cooks and healers and stuff. Resist the urge, DMs out there, to use that character to betray the party. Don't do it. If you do that, you will ruin their trust, and they will never trust another NPC again. And trusting NPCs is kind of what you need when you're doing like a mission or a quest-based story campaign, which is what most of fantasy campaigns are. Okay? If you break their trust early and often, that's it. You've ruined them. That's how you get murder hobos.
100%. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, sometimes a betrayal can be fun, but
yes,
like, it needs to be.
I agree.
I think it needs to be earned or something. Like it needs to be like, yeah, like one NPC has. But like you need allies. Like it's super important to have allies, I think, and that's why I personally, for example, I don't like games where it's constant tension and when you have like no time to breathe and you just go from one dangerous situation into the next dangerous situation. You said you like to keep the players like on their toes and stuff, but like you can, I imagine like you didn't mean that by it's going to be always danger and stuff, because like danger becomes dull at some point.
Yes,
like
yes.
You don't want to dull out your players.
Well said. Even in my 11 session Shadow of the Demon Lord campaign, where they were leveling up at the end of every session, which is a breakneck pace, they still had time to sit down at a tavern, grab some drinks, talk to some NPCs, or enjoy a quiet moment in a angel blessed pool, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, pop off, Gob.
No, we had an NPC very early on by the name of Cassius. I used a model that I found on the Games Workshop on Tabletop Sim. Ended up just being like a bald wizard dude with a purple globe. They were immediately accused of being a Lex Luthor type villain just by that sheer appearance alone.
Whoops.
Even though he has done nothing but help them.
I see.
So it's kind of like a thing of like perhaps subverting expectations enough, but not like an outright betrayal of trust.
Yeah.
I think betrayal is something it's very hard to do good.
Well, the thing is you want to betray the characters, not the players.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Right. Before we move on, I wish to talk about an NPC.
Please. Wait, is it about the one I
So,
think
yes, it is probably. So, story time.
Uh-oh.
So last year I was like streaming. I was like, you know what? I want to show off some Demon Lord, so I'm going to make a character on stream. So I started, started up stream, started making a character, showing off the PDF, doing some rolling. I was like, let's make a goblin. Okay, let's roll on the charts, right, Atsu? Let's roll on them.
Let's do it.
So when we got to the unique feature of the goblin, rolled, got 1d6 extra fingers anywhere on the body. I'm like, okay, cool. Roll a d6, got 2. Okay, where am I gonna put these 2 fingers? Chat was like, how about the nipples? I was like, you know what?
No.
Oh no!
Finger nipples was born.
The most legendary of your NPCs ever.
And so I brought this character to the off-stream game before we started streaming to, test the waters to see how we vibed and everything. And so I brought this character, gave him a fun little personality and a fun voice. And next thing you know, when we were prepping for season 1 of Shadows Fall, I was like, so what do you want to see in the game? First thing, the return of finger nipples. And so finger nipples became a character who had a new job every time they ran into him because he kept losing his job.
Damn.
I just hate to imagine one day where he's shirtless and he uses those fingers as like a come hither motion.
Oh, always. He's always shirtless.
Oh, God.
And if you see the emote here, if you see the emote, he is famous for his finger guns.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I thought those were actual hands. No.
God, the fipples.
The fipples.
And
Put
he
those
returned.
away.
He returned for season 2 as well. They asked for Nipples back, so Nipples is now a recurring NPC.
Thank
Now
you.
his name is Nippleback.
Nippleback.
Yes. All right, that's my NPC. I did not expect him to be last as long as he did, but he was a favorite.
I saw that Gearfried a while back had a question about evil things your players have done.
Oh yeah,
I
let's
was
go
going
for
to
that
read
one.
that too.
How about you start us off, Ruby, and we'll go around the table.
Oh, me? I mean,
What is the most
have you
evil
done-
thing a player has done in game that you did not expect?
Have you? I mean, have you done anything evil? I think like the most evil thing that was like in the first session that happened, was like our kobold. Like the group has a kobold named Wilmo, and like the first thing he does is going to steal from a wizard a scroll, and that's it. Like they haven't done anything really evil yet. I think like but like if it comes to like experiences in general, I think in one of our stream games back in the Paladin days, Gartoon killed a goblin in cold blood by Eldritch blasting him into its back, and he just disintegrated, I think. Like, that was the most evil thing that I've seen, like, just out of nowhere, because, like, he had... I mean, technically not out of nowhere, because, like, it was, like, in a necromancer's lair or something, like... or, like, was it a necromancer? But, like, it was very necromancy-ish. But like, because he had such a fear of that character. He was just a goblin who was helping us go to his master, basically. And then like Gar was like, oh yeah, and then I turn around and Eldritch Blast him. And that's it. And it carries over to the next campaign, like he's in with me, that Melly is also part of. He plays a dwarf, and he's kind of trigger happy with his guiding bolts. So like he likes to shoot guiding bolts. He's the American and of our group.
Yeehaw!
But yeah, like in terms of like my players, they haven't done anything really evil yet. Nothing unexpected or anything. It was all in good fun-ish. Like there was nothing I can say that was evil.
I'll go next and then turn it to Atsu afterwards. So get me over with real quick. Yes. Besides giving you humans to sacrifice in the game, that was
Hold
given.
Hold on. That was planned by you. That was
Exactly.
not us doing something we wanted. It was just a part of the process.
Exactly. So we'll gloss over that. We'll go back to the first session I ran for you off stream, Ruby. You, Twixie, and Yislith, and Zeka. When you all as members of a goblin gang, you went after your halfling gang rival and went into their drug
Oh, I remember that.
their drug factory, and I tried to make sure to let y'all know, hey, these the ones you're fighting, yeah, but these ones that you're killing in one hit, they're trying to get away. It seems like they're just working here. So after you wrap up the underground drug ring, you decide to lock up all these innocent workers and burn down the place as you leave.
I mean, they were halflings.
They were just trying to make a coin.
Drug. They worked for the whole drug thing. They were bad, pretty much. We knew they were bad. They were bad people. We didn't do anything bad that day.
Keep telling yourself that, Ruby.
Yes,
I'm telling myself that.
Just stare at that point of corruption on your character sheet until you... But that's what I got. You're up, Atsu.
So the question is, what evil things have my players done
That you were not expecting.
that I was not expecting? The story that comes up, because it did come out of left field, because I didn't know her at the time. Does anybody here know Cat Volts?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, I've known Cat Volts since before she was a VTuber. I knew her way back in the day when she was nothing more than a changed world-class speedrunner for the game Changed. And she got invited into one of my D&D campaigns that I was running like back in 2018-ish, right? And hey Hexalia. Let's see. So, you know, she comes in when they were level 5, they started at level 1. This campaign went all the way up to like level 18, 19. And I was like, shit, how am I gonna get her into this game? Because they were right in the middle of a huge mega dungeon, right? Like a 50-room dungeon. And I was thinking to myself, shit, how am I gonna get her into here? And I knew there was a sarcophagus coming up in one of the rooms that they were in. I was like, perfect, right? And she was playing an elf wizard. So I basically took her character and stuffed her in the box. And I was like, hopefully they'll open the box. If not, I'll have to put her out somewhere else, you know? And she was basically freeze-dried for 10,000 years. So they woke her up and, she, Undertaker sat up and introduced themselves and she joined their party. A couple sessions in, she private messages me, says, I want to be the final boss. I want to be evil. I want to betray the party.
Oh no.
Oh.
And I said, oh shit, I'm in. So we started collaborating. We started like building up her stat line for her final boss, thing, and like working on her lines and, what was going to happen and all of that. So yeah, that was really cool. I mean, it did kind of take the players for a bit of a loop. But at that point, I think that the rest of the players were, let's just say I didn't particularly care about ever having them in my game again. And Kat was the only one I took from that group, and invited her to future games. So I didn't care if they were a little upsetty spaghetti when the betrayal finally came. But again, your mileage may vary in your game. But I'd never had that happen before. I'd never had a player be like, I want to be the final boss. Do you think you can do that? It's actually kind of the inspiration for the seminal scene in Shadow of the Demon Lord, where Anna was supposed to betray the group, but because she had meshed and gelled and connected with the group so well, she ultimately did not, and instead sacrificed herself so that the Demon Lord could actually be harmed for a short time. and that was their window to actually beat the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nice.
So there you go.
Very cool. How about you, Gob? Any evil player actions?
Well, this wasn't like in the context of what happened. It wasn't evil in the sense of the character, but more of just something I wasn't expecting the player to do. So we're to take you to the scene. We're in a town called Burleben. It is a shanty swamp town. Its only good thing about it is this drink known as the Swamp Swill, which is their local alcohol. Blech. Like, there's nothing really good about this place. And it's apparently so because you have the people who are in charge and then the people who are really in charge. And our player at the time, a half-orc bard, just did not like the tone. One of those lizard, you got these like big burly like lizard folks sort of like flexing and being like the tough guys that they are. And they're like in the middle of a market square, and for some reason the bard just didn't like the tone one of them was giving off.
Ooh.
And the lizard folk wanted to remind him, just like, hey, you're in our town in the middle of the marketplace. And he's like pointing to his buddies across the marketplace, like, you need to like know your place here and learn not to like badmouth us. And in the middle of the marketplace, in the middle of like not only like these like bad burly dudes, but also innocents, he's just like, I cast Firebolt.
Oh shit.
And I even, and you know how DMs usually have that preference of like warning the players, like not the character but the player, just like, this might be a bad choice, by saying those nice words, are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Are you sure? And they said yes. I'm like, all right, roll initiative. So there was just like this brawl out, like this fiery brawl out in the middle of this swampy marketplace. Innocents are running for their lives. And as far as the law is concerned, he just assaulted an innocent victim. Like, sure, he was acting tough, but that didn't. You don't firebolt someone for being mean to you.
Did
And it
they
was just
win?
like,
What was the outcome of that?
I know.
I'm
I wanna
curious
know.
right now.
He killed 5 of the lizard folk brawlers. The people were running for their lives, and here was the kicker. The kicker that got me the most was that after he had done that, the only person who was with him was the wizard at the time. So it's just Bard and Wizard having this brawl in the middle of the street. They go back to the rest of the party, tell them what they've done, and the Bard, without any hesitation, just pulls out his pedigree and is just like, I'm a noble. I'm a noble, therefore I can get away with this.
Wow. Really?
Gosh.
You
I-
insulted my honor.
He's like, my family will help me take care of this. They did not. In fact, that character was taken away, arrested, rightfully so, and he had to roll up a new character.
Oh shit. I mean,
Okay.
I
Because
mean,
we had to have that like talk
consequences,
afterwards,
man.
just like, hey, I don't care what you thought you were doing, that was not the right move.
Actions have consequences.
Yeah, that's
because nobody backed him up. Nobody in the group was just like, no, what he did was fine.
yeah.
Everyone was just like, what the fuck were you thinking? That is the most petty thing I've ever seen anyone do. Just like burn someone for bad mouthing you. You committed 5 murders and thought you could get away with it.
Yeah, I had enough of these, like playing alongside with players like that who think they can just do anything. And it's just like, yeah, but this is a game with like not real consequences, but like you know what I mean. Like it's not a video game
Yeah,
where you can
yeah.
like press F5 and then like load again or something, or like you go far away and then like people forget about your crimes or whatever. Like it's not GTA or something like.
I always tell my
and,
players.
and
"Keep
here's
my space."
here's the best part. Like they before they had the chance to arrest them, they did solve the conflict in that area where they were being oppressed by a black dragon. They killed a black dragon. And even then, like, the people in charge are just like, listen, just because you did a good thing for us does not mean you didn't break the law. You're coming with us. You have to answer for your crimes.
Yeah.
Yep. Agree.
He's
Jeez.
like, oh, but we saved you from the dragon. You guys would have been oppressed by that. Doesn't matter. You could save the world 5 times over. You're still a lawbreaker to us.
It's criminal scum.
Like I literally
Won't
cracked it down with a Oath of the Ancients paladin, who was the acting commanding guard at the time.
I love the Oath of the Ancients Paladin. One of my favorite subclasses for the Paladin.
Really?
That and Vengeance, yeah.
I guess that could be the next question. But yeah, Mally, first you go. You ever had any particularly evil stuff happen in your campaign?
Oh,
we
yeah, I already
already
went.
answered that.
Oh shit!
We started with Ruby and went around.
We went through the order. I was the last in
Oh,
line,
you
dude.
Yeah.
you wrecked the order.
Nah. Chaos.
Someone's not paying attention.
Look, man, look. I just wanted to hear Mally talk again. Okay.
Someone needs another cup of coffee.
Buck
But-
says the fuck around ratio is the same as finding out, and I think I agree. You know, let the players, fuck around, and if something bad happens through their actions, then that's their doing. Like you don't have you're only putting the word in there, and they have to navigate through it.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone knows the F around and find out, it is I will buck you.
Oh, of course, yeah. Now I get it.
First time
Yeah,
chatter.
we had
Aria
actually-
Silverfire, welcome in.
Like yesterday actually, it's like the perfect example of that actually. So our group was like we had to infiltrate a fucking fort that was taken over by devils, because like in that campaign the devils are the main enemy, and we kind of also had to swear to the locals there that we would fight for the realm and stuff. And like the devils are like one of the main problems there. And like so this fort was taken over by devils that was actually owned by one of the northern people there, and we made our way around there. It was supposed to be like an infiltration mission where we kind of like go in under the disguise of someone else that works for the devils and stuff, and like try to get as much information free two people. I mean, like one person and a goat. The goat was like it's like a godly goat that gives ale instead of milk.
It was Thor's
And-
goat.
It was Thor's goat, yes. And so like what ended up happening is that we kind of got spotted by the main bad guy there, the commander and stuff, and we were actually just supposed to get like other devils on our side to do a big revolution there. So because they have been like in that fort for a long time, and they get bored and stuff, and they wanna do more stuff, but like it's just them like working in the fort and stuff, and there's like lots and lots of tension between the commanders and stuff, and like so I would say the supreme commander there like spots us and like takes us to this this ritual room, which is like an incomplete beacon. And our cleric, like the thing is, like, we didn't have much information. I don't blame him for that, but that's the same cleric that likes to shoot likes to shoot guiding
Burst.
bolts and stuff. He's tasked to fulfill the beacon for the devils. And instead of doing that, he turns towards the fucking Supreme Commander and tries to cast banishment on him, while all his allies and us are in the room. So like, in any case, even if it would have the banishment fails, but even if the banishment would have worked, I wonder what his plan would have been, because there are so many devils in this whole room that we would have had a fight anyway. So this devil grabs him by the neck, flies up into the sky, bursts through the rooftop into the sky, and then basically crashes down with him again, and does a lot of fall damage and stuff, and then whole hell breaks loose, because then the cleric says okay, I'm gonna do it, and he tries to overload the system, tries to overload the ritual with high level magic than necessary, and instead of what was supposed to happen is that the beacon activates immediately, and we have this whole extreme fight with demons from another dimension or something, and it was our DM said this was the worst outcome we could have gotten. And holy shit, but that battle was fucking legendary. It was a 3-hour battle that we had up until for me it was midnight when it ended. And we got all kinds of really cool shit, because we actually managed to free the goat in mid-battle. And Melly's and mine character, we got our boons. In this campaign, everyone gets some kind of cool boon that fits their character. For example, Melly's character got to swing Thor's hammer for one turn, for one attack. It was amazing. And I have this whole concept of being a friendship cleric, technically a warlock, but she says she's a cleric. And my familiar that I have is a hedgehog, and he says he's a dragonborn paladin actually. And so when I activated my boon, the hedgehog actually turned into his previous form of the dragonborn paladin. So I basically have an ally that I can control and stuff. Everyone has really, really cool boons that fit to their character, and I love it. But yeah, that's the whole story of yesterday actually.
Hell yeah. I love it when
Real
Ruby
quick.
gets excited.
I love when classes pantomime as other classes. Rogues pantomime as clerics, and warlocks pantomime as anything they want, really.
Technically, I love the warlock class because it is so fucking interesting and versatile. Actually, it's not the strongest class, by far not. Depending on how you play it, but it has so much fucking flavor. I mean, I played 2 warlocks in 2 different campaigns, and it's just a fucking patron thing and stuff. It is a pool of unlimited potential, I think.
Well said.
I have fights that lasted 2 whole sessions. Yeah, we are level 7, and that fight took 3 hours. So this campaign will go to level 20. I'm very interested how many sessions we are going to have level 20 fights, because that DM, he loves to throw in huge battles.
He's just oh boy, you're level 20. I get to bring out the good stuff.
Yes, I'm excited because I do want my campaign to be a little bit longer than I expected in the first in the first time, and I'm itching to bring out heavier guns actually to fight my players with, so they can have this because I think it's important that the players get a chance to show off everything they have.
Oh yeah. Thanks for the posture check, the Indoosh. Welcome in. So,
But yeah.
I hate to be the one to do this, but Ruby, I think you have a game in less than an hour.
Yeah. I need to eat something beforehand.
So do I as well, and I knew this would be fun, but this has been a blast. Thank you. We got to do this again sometime. Thank you so much for
Sure.
joining me, Atsu, Gob, Ruby.
Actually, you know what
Pleasure.
we need to do? We need to play together.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Definitely,
I want
definitely.
to see all of your cool characters and stuff, and I want I don't know. We do need a DM though.
I know, right?
All right, 1, 2, 3, not it.
Not it.
Not it. Atsu.
Oh.
I will
Hell yeah.
remind you in the future that you wanted this.
Hey, as long as
Um,
I can play a goblin, I'm fine.
If anybody wants to recommend someone to raid, we can go ahead and start round tabling our outros. If you want to outro anything, find me a raid target, or I'll find one myself. But
Let's see. We got Little Appleseed playing Spire the Dragon. We got
Horatius
Mimi
is playing Lethal Company.
Mimi Noblin. She's having her birthday stream.
I bet.
Oh. yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go. Happy birthday.
definitely. So, let me get a raid message going. But Atsu, please start us off with goodbyes.
Thank you for everybody for coming in. Thank you for all of my people for coming in. And yeah, play more games, run more games. Even if you think it's going to suck, run more games. That's it. That's all I got.
You know, kids, we can't raid into ourselves. We're right here.
Yeah, I'm done streaming for the week. I'll catch you on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, Gob's gonna have a Thanksgiving little special. Ask us anything for scheduled conflicts. It's gonna be good.
I'm also going to have a special that day. We're going to be playing the NES version of Shadowgate.
Ooh.
And you're going to see why I am the way I am.
Let's go. Well, I mean, I knew that Thanksgiving is just a time where everybody's just gonna be full belly, just eepy as hell after their wonderful turkey. So I was just like, you know, we're not gonna have a session because I just wrecked you all with a wrestling luchador in full plate armor. But you know,
Bruh.
so we're just gonna lean back. We're gonna see if anybody has anything. Maybe even just look at the YouTube comments on our YouTube videos. See if we can see if we can just like drum up a discussion. But yeah, it's always a pleasure to talk D&D. Always a pleasure to just be on these little specials, these little shows with y'all. I am very eepy.
Oh, I don't have any. First of all, thank you again for having me. And this was truly inspiring for me. Getting like lots and lots of things that I want to improve on as a new DM and stuff. And yeah, it was really nice having you all around here. It's I had a lot of fun, and next week, like tomorrow actually starting, I'm going to be streaming again, like Monday, Hero Forge stuff. So yeah, if you want to combine, I would be honored to have anyone from the chat and in my chat and whatever. And that's it basically. Please, and what Atsu said, go DM. It's really fun. If you know, you get to tell your own story without having to write a book or something. You just get to make everything. And also, like, nothing becomes real unless you say it. Anything you write down doesn't matter. The moment you say it, it becomes real.
And just have fun with friends.
Yes. Have good people around you. Have good people that respect you and respect other players.
Come to the warband, Aria Silverfire.
Much
And that's
appreciated.
it. Now
It-
your last parting words, Mally.
It becomes
Oh.
real when I say it.
Yes.
I cast testicular torsion.
Oh, at least don't cast hateful defecation.
Oh, please no.
Lol.
Nah. But seriously, really appreciate you joining me for this. This has been a lot of fun. I would love to do something like this again or somewhere along the lines. It doesn't have to be my channel. Let's talk. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then me.
I want more of this. Yes.
Hell yeah. That was a lot of fun. But before I go, I will be streaming this Saturday coming up. I believe that is the 25th. 6 a.m. EST, 12 p.m. CET for episode 4 of my Shadow of the Demon Lord campaign, Shadows Fall, Mask of God. So please join me for that. And I always do this to my players, so everyone have a most excellent week. Let me get this raid started. Yes, perfect. All right, so everyone have a most excellent week. My DMs here, don't leave me hanging. Let's say bye together in 3, 2, 1. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Someone failed the initiative roll.